Hey y'all, so me and the husband are traveling from Chicago to San Francisco. It is our first times coming here. We've been to California before, but this is our first time traveling to the San Francisco Bay Area. He is surprising me for my 50th birthday. Actually, I found out about a month before this trip. He didn't realize that I was going to get the emails from United, and I ended up finding out before he told me. But anyway, I was still surprised. So this is O'Hare Airport. We are traveling from Chicago to San Francisco, and it's going to take us approximately about 5 hours to get there. So of course, anytime that I travel, I always go to Google Maps, Google reviews, and I'm checking out other social media platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, even Threads to find out like where are people going when they are in that city. And so I did a lot of research, and of course, I always have to find a place where there are tacos. I also got to find a place where there are great donuts. So we definitely found that out when we went to San Francisco. One of the things that I didn't know about this particular airport is that we were going to have to take a train, and this train took us around like to different terminals, and we were in the United terminal, and we had to get over to the rent-a-car place. But all the instructions are in there, very nice. They have guides inside the airport too, so if you are traveling to San Francisco, they have really nice guides within the airport that will help you get to where you need to go to. We stayed at a Hampton Inn that was very close to the airport. I want to say it was about 15-minute drive to get there. But after checking in, we had to go get something to eat. So we stopped off at 7 Mile House, and this is in Brisbane, California, which is, again, it's like 15 minutes outside of San Francisco. This sports bar had some really, really good food. And I'm telling you, the music that they were playing was like straight classics. Good 70s, 80s, 90s R&B music. I wish I could put the sound on, but I know YouTube was going to flag me. But yeah, they had some really good music, had some Filipino food there. I didn't get a chance to get like a lot of the Filipino entrees, but we did try an appetizer, and that was really delicious too. So we had the pork and chicken lumpia. So basically it's like a mini egg roll. That's the way you can think about it, but it was really delicious. The husband, he ended up getting a sole fish sandwich, which he enjoyed. I ended up getting a cheeseburger. I hadn't had one in so long, so it was really nice to get a cheeseburger, and it was delicious with the truffle French fries. Okay, y'all. So, as I told you earlier, wherever we travel, we do our best to find donuts and tacos. Well, it's day one here in San Francisco, and we found Bob's Donuts. So, Bob's Donuts, I kept hearing about it from local foodies. They were ranting and raving about the place. And now that I've been there, I can totally see why they was talking about this spot. So, to get from the 7 Mile House Sports Bar to Bob's Donuts, it did take about 30 minutes, but that's okay because we were able to see how the locals were living. It sort of reminded me of the Uptown or maybe Lakeview or Boys Town area of Chicago. But what was different were the styles of the homes or the apartments. And the streets were super duper hilly, and the incline was just ridiculous. You'll see some of those inclines later in the video. So yeah, so we've arrived at Bob's Donuts, and I'm telling you, there was just so many options here. We were doing very well because we only walked away with 4 donuts. So the husband, he got the chocolate buttermilk bar and an almond maple cronut. I got an apple fritter and a mango-filled malasada. I may be pronouncing these donuts incorrectly, but they are apparently Hawaiian donuts. And oh my gosh, I swear, I wish I had bought like 5 of those. They were so delicious. I even found a spot in Chicago's North Side that sells them too. So I'm hoping that they're just as good as Bob's Donuts. On our way back to our car, we came across another spot that I saw the locals were talking about. And this place is called Hot Cookie. Now, Hot Cookie has some hot cookies. Just check out the titles of some of these cookies. They got classics like chocolate chip and snickerdoodle, but let's be real, you're here for the famous naughty cookies. So some of these treats are shaped like what we'll just say are grown-up things. And we did really good at this shop too because again, we had just left the donut shop. So we only got two cookies from out of here. The hubby got the Mocha Madness and I got the Cocoa Cayenne. We should have switched up on the cookies because he's not a coffee flavor fan and I'm not a spicy chocolate fan, but I can say we did try something different. Hot Cookie is more than just a dessert spot. It's like a whole vibe up in here. There's sass, there's sweetness, and the walls are covered in photos of people just repping their hot cookie merch like it's a badge of honor. But we had a good time hanging out in here. It's day 2, and we are going to Pier 39 in Fisherman's Wharf. There's so much to see and do here, and just let me tell you, if you're visiting San Francisco for the first time like me, let me just save you some time and just say you should just go straight to Pier 39. Because when I tell you, this place is like its own little theme park tucked away into the city's waterfront. There's street performers, there's food everywhere, and there's a lot of nonstop energy. So you want to make sure that you bring your camera, you want to bring your appetite, and be sure to have your walking shoes because we did a lot of walking over here. This place does have a nice parking garage. There's actually a couple of them. So you can park your car if you're driving like we are, and you can walk right across over to Pier 39. Now, as you can see, as we're driving, there are multiple piers here and they all are numbered. Like this is Pier 17, I believe. And Pier 39 is like very far on the back end. So you're going to be driving for a minute before you get there. There are a lot of things to see and do over here. We did not stop over here because again, we're trying to get to Pier 39. And look, this is Pier 27. There's a Carnival cruise line here. And again, you're just going to keep on driving until you get to Pier 39. And again, there is a parking garage across the street. Now, when we first arrived up in here, I saw the Biscoff store right away. I am a huge Biscoff fan. I love the cookies. I didn't realize they had donuts and coffee and all the things, but I do like their cookies. However, I was not a fan of the prices. I know that I can get these at a less expensive price in the Chicago area, so I did not buy any from here. But that's okay. It was still nice to be able to walk in and have that experience of seeing all things Biscoff. After we left this area, the husband saw this boudin restaurant and he just wanted to see like, did they have any sourdough bread or bowls or something like that? But he didn't see anything that he liked, so he decided to just walk out the store. So the next spot that we ended up going to was this place called Trish's Chocolate. They had all things chocolate. I had never seen this many options of chocolate candies, chocolate donuts. They even had whiskey flavored candies, just all the things, brownies. Look at this chocolate covered licorice and donut holes and covered Oreos. I mean, like all the things. It was just amazing to see all the chocolate. Did we walk out with anything? No, we didn't. We did very good. And yes, I know I'm on vacation and I know that I'm supposed to be having fun eating all the things. It's my 50th birthday, but I wanted to watch what I was eating, how much I was eating while I was out here. So we did good. Look at that. Chocolate covered bacon, Rice Krispie sticks. I mean, look at this. S'mores. It was a lot of good stuff, but we decided to walk away and did very well with that. I mean, even the husband did good because he likes all things chocolate too. He did really good also. But yeah, so I'm letting you all see some of the things that were in the store. So if you decide to go in here, you will have an idea of what you're getting into. This Trish's chocolate also had like a shop on the outside. I want to say that they had like different shakes and like coffee drinks, things like that. So that option is like outside, like around the corner from this particular location. So after seeing all things chocolate, when we walked outside, we did come across another interesting place, and it was called the Pepper Paradise. And let me tell you, the guy that is in charge of this store, I don't know if he's the owner, but he's an employee there. And this guy knew all things about peppers, anything hot. He knew the difference between the peppers. Very interesting young man. But I did walk out of there with some blueberry barbecue sauce, so I'm excited to try that out. Here's a funnel cake shop. We didn't get anything from there because we was expecting like a funnel cake sundae. We like it with the ice cream and the chocolate syrup and all the things on a funnel cake, so we didn't get that. It was just like funnel cake without a sundae. But we did find this Christmas in San Francisco shop. I do love getting Christmas ornaments from a local area that I'm traveling to. So it was really, really fun to be able to walk in here and find all things Christmas. And I did bring back a San Francisco ornament back home. I was really wishing that my mother-in-law was with us because she loves all things Christmas too. And I know she would have had a great time in here. So if you're like me, you would definitely have a great time too, looking at all the different Christmas ornaments. And they also like wrap up these ornaments too. So like if you want to have them shipped to your home, you can do so because, if you're flying to San Francisco and you're not driving, you want to make sure that your items don't get broken. Some of these ornaments are super expensive, so you want to make sure that you are at least wrap them up really nicely before taking them home. We're still at Pier 39. Again, there's so many things to see, and we've walked by this shop called the Fudgery. They have humongous turtles, like different types of turtles, as well as strawberries. We were definitely tempted. We didn't get anything from here, including the caramel apples that just look lovely. But I'm glad that we didn't buy anything here, even though the sales guy was really trying to get us to buy something. But when we left here, we walked down just a few feet and we came across the Candy Baron. Well, yes, we definitely bought some things from here. They had all types of candies I haven't seen since I was a little kid, or even when my daughters were younger kids. Tons of saltwater taffy candy, candy from like, look at this, like Laffy Taffy. I hadn't had that since I was like a little girl. The Nerds, like all things. And what I was really like super excited to see, which is going to come up on the video later, was these candies called Crystal Fruits. I have been looking for these candies since, my gosh, maybe the past 10 years. I didn't know the name of them, and they actually had it at this Candy Baron shop. So now I know like what to look for if I want to buy them online. My great grand aunt used to have them in her candy dish, and it just brought back like so much nostalgia from when I was a little kid. Like we're talking about 5, 6, 7 years old. It's like I just love these. Here they are right here, Crystal Fruits. And they only had like about 3 or 4 different flavors, but hey, I was still happy to see them. I grabbed a whole bunch of them. I took some to the hotel room and ate some, and I brought a lot back to Chicago so I can have in my candy dish. But yeah, so super excited to see those. And like some of the candy bars that I saw here, the wrapping is different in the stores like in Chicago. So that it was a little bit different. At least I knew what they were, but some of the wrapping just looked a little different. But yeah, we had a ball up in here, like looking at all the candies, and of course we brought some back, especially some of the ones that we hadn't seen in like years. But yeah, so if you ever go to Pier 39, you definitely want to check out this Candy Baron shop because any candy you can think of, they will have it inside of this store. It was now time for us to get over to Fisherman's Wharf. That is just like a few blocks away from Pier 39. You can walk it. We did a lot of walking that day. But we did stop by the crab station to get some shrimp, some fried shrimp, and we ate that at the pier before we got on to this red and white fleet cruises where we got to see the Golden Gate Bridge as well as Alcatraz. I believe my husband got the tickets through Groupon or maybe like online, like on TripAdvisor or something like that. But I know he had got a good deal on the tickets, so you may want to look for something like that when you are looking for like this type of tour. So yeah, I believe the tour was about close to 2 hours, and we like went to the Golden Gate Bridge. We got to go underneath it and around it. And then, because the boat has two sides. So each side of the boat, no matter where you're sitting, you'll get a chance to see the other side of the bridge. So while we were sitting there, it was like tons of people like jumping up to take pictures and videos and things like that. So I kind of like missed some of my shots. But as the boat turned around, I was able to see, the bridge like really well. This is a big bridge, and yeah, people were still like jumping up and getting in front of you and stuff. So it was hard to take a shot. But once the boat turned around, I was able to see it again, and it's just a very beautiful bridge. And again, as the boat turned around, we started heading towards Alcatraz. And what was amazing about seeing Alcatraz was looking at where San Francisco Bay is at. Like, you see the buildings, and then you get over to Alcatraz and you're like, wow, it really isn't that far away from land. And just to know that there were people that were sent to this prison and they were so close to the mainland, and not being able to get out safely, and get over to land. There was a lot of attempts, but just to know that these people were so close to land and, escaping was just like pretty rough, if they even tried to do so. The tour guide did inform us that there were like guards, their families, they were staying here. And in the morning time, when it was time for the kids to go to school, those kids would take like a ferry to get over to land. And then when the ferry was going back to Alcatraz, that's when they would pick up new prisoners and take them, to Alcatraz. So it was just like, wow, knowing that, this same ferry, you had little kids on there going to school, and then like at the same time, after they're dropped off, you got new prisoners that are going back over to the area where basically, these kids and their families live at. I don't know if you had caught it, but on one of the buildings, it says Indian land. Well, from what I was learning, at least on Google and Wikipedia, apparently there was a occupation of an Indian tribe where they was trying to bring attention to the fact that this is like stolen land. This is like abandoned federal land, but it was stolen. And so there was like a protest where it was like 89 American Indians, and they had supporters where they pretty much occupied, the Alcatraz building itself, where Alcatraz Island, and they were there from November 20th, 1969 through June 11, 1971. So yeah, go online, read up on it. It was very interesting, but again, it's just so crazy to see how close this island is to the San Francisco Bay. Well, after getting off the boat cruise, we were able to walk over to Ghirardelli Square and we got some candy. The shop was okay. It was a lot of stuff going on. I wasn't a big fan of the square, and I was mostly pissed off because I was trying to get some candy and it took forever for someone to come over to the cash register. But they did have a separate area where I can go and purchase, so I got my candy from there. So after we left there, we walked over to the Cartoon Art Museum, and this did have like a cost. My husband didn't want to go through the whole museum. He just wanted to see what it was about. So we did go over to the Batman exhibit. That part was free. And it was just enough for us to just walk over to say that we've been inside the building, take some pictures, and walk back to the car. Because again, we did tons of walking that day. But once we got back to the car, we did take one of those crazy roads that I was talking about earlier in the video, where we have like all these crazy inclines. Like, this city is so hilly. I'm like, I need to get back to Chicago where the land is flat. I was not used to this. Thank God my husband was driving, because I mean, like, even when you're going slow, you gotta hit those brakes so that you don't run into another car. And thankfully we're in automatics and not manual transmissions, because that would have been a problem. Anyway, so we finally get to our next destination, which is La Taqueria. This is another spot where the locals were saying on Instagram and TikTok and Google that you need to make sure that you hit up, because they have very delicious tacos. So I ended up getting a carne asada taco, and it had really nice refried beans in it, as well as a beautiful pico de gallo. My husband ended up getting a carne asada burrito. He loved his, he devoured his food. Me, on the other hand, I did like the taco. I just thought the seasoning could have been better. I just feel like it wasn't enough of a punch to it. And I know I'm not describing it right, but I was like, it's okay. I think I like Chicago tacos better. It's day 3 and the final full day for us in San Francisco, and it's also my birthday. And guess what? We're going to eat and chill out all day. But first, we're having breakfast at Taste and Glory. It's located in San Mateo and about 15 minutes from our hotel in Brisbane. The vibes are really nice in here, and the host as well as the waiter was super nice, and the food was even better. We started off with some pineapple juice and some mango passion fruit juice. The hubby, he ended up having the Dungeness omelet, and this Dungeness omelet included Dungeness crab, garlic, baby spinach. He removed the onions, but also there was Swiss and Parmesan cheeses. I ended up having the chicken croffle with a side of rainbow potatoes. The chicken croffle has a buttermilk crispy chicken, sweet chili sauce, a croissant waffle, as well as Biscoff crumbs. It also includes some maple syrup. After eating breakfast, we headed over to downtown San Francisco to see my buddy Tommy Cruise on screen for Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. I love this movie. It was about 3 hours, but every minute it was worth it. Our final destination in San Francisco is Chinatown. And just a quick tip, although it is May, let me tell you, this town was cold and windier than Chicago. Before dinner, we sat inside a Starbucks to get some tea before walking around Chinatown. And thankfully we had on light jackets and pants, but we really should have had on a hoodie or a coat or something to that effect. San Francisco's Chinatown is one of the oldest and one of the most vibrant Chinatowns in North America. Right after stepping through the famous Dragon Gate on Grant Avenue, you're instantly transported with red lanterns strung overhead. You have the smell of food, the smell of incense, and storefronts are filled with everything from herbs to clothing to swords to even jade jewelry. There are tons of little shops with souvenirs, teas, and traditional Chinese trinkets. And if you're into cute things like a lucky cat figurine, this is the place to go. So, tucked away in the heart of San Francisco's Chinatown is a spot that you might miss if you're not paying attention, but trust me, you don't want to. We're checking out Hong Kong Clay Pot for my birthday dinner. It's exciting because I haven't sat down and eaten at a Chinese restaurant in Chinatown in a few years, and that's including Chinatown that's in Chicago. I usually order my food to go. Hong Kong Clay Pot is a traditional no-frills gem that delivers serious flavor in every bite. I'm going to just run down everything we ate. We had salt and pepper chicken wings, pot stickers, egg fried rice. I had the chicken clay pot with chicken, sausage, mushrooms, and onions. And the hubby, he had the seafood clay pot with tofu, shrimp, cod, squid, and mushrooms. We both loved our food and was super full. We even had leftovers to take back to the hotel, which we ended up smashing later. It was so delicious. And just like that, people, my San Francisco adventure comes to an end. Whether it's my first bite of Hawaiian donuts, the ride up those super steep hills, or just getting lost in the neighborhoods, every moment of my birthday trip was amazing. As a tourist from Chicago, I'm leaving with memories and new cravings. Thanks for coming along with me. If you've been in San Francisco before, let me know your favorite spots in the comments. Or if you haven't, trust me, it's worth the trip.